Good afternoon. It is Saturday afternoon. I have an update on my job site that I'm going to upload on here. But right now, I figured I would just show you what I'm prepping for dinners. It's kind of like, I don't know, how would you say it? A Tex-Mex kind of hamburger helper kind of thing. So in my glass baking pan, I just have a can of black beans. I have a can of Rotel here that I'm going to use half of. The other half I'm going to seed. Right now I am cooking some pasta. I have the Ronzoni Smart Taste. A box of that, actually, of the penne. So it's a 12-ounce box of Ronzoni Smart Taste, which I really like this. And I'll tell you how much it has here. 6 grams of protein per 2/3 of a cup, which is pretty good, and I like it. And it's actually priced better than Bonza. The chickpea penne, which I still like, and also the Barilla protein pasta. I also have in a frying pan right now a pound of ground turkey with about a tablespoon and a half of taco seasoning. So, and I also have some tomato sauce. You're going to need some Mexican shredded cheese and some sour cream. So I'm cooking this right now, and I'll be back to you when I start putting it all together. Okay, so we're going to start putting this together. Can of black beans in a casserole dish. I have my oven set to 350. It's been set at 350 because I was prepping some bacon. So I'm just adding my pasta, and you don't have to worry about it being, cooked all the way through, because it's going in the oven anyway to heat up, and when it's in the oven, it will cook to al dente. So I have the pasta in there. I'm now throwing in my pound of turkey, ground turkey, with the 1.5 tablespoons of taco seasoning. My ground turkey, I always add in some kind of oil, like avocado oil or olive oil or something, just because it adds a little bit more flavor. And turkey and ground turkey, ground chicken, it doesn't have a lot of fat in it, so it gives it some flavor, and also helps it not stick to the bottom of the frying pan. So I have my can of Rotel. I'm just going to open, and we're going to put in half. You could put in the whole can if you want. I just am not a big, I don't like very spicy things. So we have this. I'm going to add in the tomato sauce just for some more liquid in here. I mean, you can add what you want. I'm just going to add this in. Mix it up. And this is pretty much just a dump and go recipe. I mean, as you can see, you could even use your crock pot if you wanted to, and just like dump everything in here. Just make sure that you add enough liquid for your pasta to cook into the crock pot. I have some sour cream. This is just sour cream that I got from Aldi. I'm just going to use the rest of this up. And I'm going to add more. I absolutely love sour cream. And I know people say, you could use not that Greek yogurt in place of sour cream. No, you can't. Stop trying to trick yourself into thinking that they taste the same. They do not. I mean, if you want sour cream, get freaking sour cream. It doesn't matter if you're on a diet or not. Get sour cream. Why do you have to, if you want to lose weight, and believe me, I've been on Weight Watchers, and, during the pandemic, I went on Weight Watchers, and then I went to the Healthy app just because it's cheaper. A lot cheaper. And, and I still watch what I eat, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to convince myself that something tastes like something else when it doesn't. And I'm certainly not going to eat something just for the sake of, because you're counting points or whatever. That's not happening with me. So I have a bag of Mexican style blend. Open up this bad boy. And I'm going to add half the bag of this in here. It's an 8-ounce bag. 8 ounces, it's about 2 cups. And I'm going to stir this in. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rest of the bag and I'm just going to sprinkle it on top. Oh, like so. And then I'm going to put it in the oven. I'll check it in about 30 minutes. Make sure everything's bubbling. Make sure the cheese is cooked. And then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it's out of the oven. It's all bubbly. I'm going to let this cool off. And then I'm just going to package it into meals. I figure I can get 2, 4, 6, 8 portions out of this. 8 1-cup portions. But we'll see. So I decided to give you an update on how the job is progressing. So right now, this is the only wall we have left to close up because there was an issue with something that the architect wanted to do, and we've been fighting with that. So this wall's being closed up tomorrow. This is the corner of where they call the internet phone security systems going to be. And so we have walls up here. We have walls up here. We just need to tape and spackle. This is going to be the back of the house of the store where the employees and stockroom manager sit. This purple wall here, which is a mold resistant board. This is going to be like the employee countertop sink, some cabinets. This recess right there is a refrigerator. And as we walk out into the main store, this is a slop sink that is going here that we built a wall for. We still have some wall covering that has to go in there. Here it's very dark because I don't have any lights, but this is the exterior door. This is the bathroom. We put the door frame in, and as we turn around, this is going to be where the water fountain is. We still have some wall covering to be put there, and then we walk out into where all the fitting rooms are going to be. So we have all these fitting rooms. These are all going to get wallpapered. I have some on this side. We have some on this side, also all going to be wallpapered. It's only a half wall, so above that will be painted. This column is going to be re-rocked and framed, make it look a lot nicer. And as we're walking through the fitting area, or as they call it, the fit suite, we walk into the sales area. So this here is going to get wood trim, and there's going to be a cabinet on this side and a cabinet on that side. But right now, the top piece that goes across here, they sent us, is too small. So I'm waiting for them to decide whether we're going to build out the side walls to fit the top piece that they sent, or if they just want to order a new top piece that goes in. So we're in the sales area. So this is all rocked and taped. We started putting on a decorative wood ledge, which is going to go around the middle of the wall at the whole sales area, and the dividing wall between the sales area and the fit rooms. And our decking and HVAC duct has been painted white. And again, more columns that are going to be reframed and sheetrocked. And I'm still waiting for paperwork to come back on this as approved so we can get that moving. But yeah, this is the update so far. And I'll do another update for you in a couple weeks. Okay, so I'm eating lunch now. So I'm actually eating that pasta hamburger helper kind of thing that I just made. I added some salt and pepper to it. It's pretty good, I have to say. But so I actually got 8.5 cups out of it, out of that whole casserole dish. So I will say that I'm gonna freeze mine, the majority of mine. So when I heat it up, I'm just going to add chicken broth into it, just so it's not so dry when you heat it up. But other than that, it's very good. So, the last couple weeks have been interesting. So I had to bring the dog in for his yearly checkup and also his prescription for his anxiety medication, and he was starting to limp too, and I figured, you know, he's getting old, maybe it's just arthritis and his old age. He's got Lyme disease again. This is the second time this dog has had Lyme disease. I use stuff on him every month too, but I have a feeling I know where he got it. I think he got it from walking on the beach. So that cost me a small fortune. That cost me more than a car payment. He was on antibiotics. He's got his anxiety, his daily anxiety medication for extra special stressful events, and now he's got medication for joint health, like almost like a vitamin, a supplement thing. So yeah, so he has that. Some more drugs than I am. Oh, he's got more pep in his step now. So yeah, so there's that. It's very, very hot again today. It was so nice. Beginning of the week, at the end of last week, it was like really nice. Not so hot, but now it's atrocious. Today's disgusting. So, work was interesting, that I have to say. I actually had to call the owner of the company and tell him that the project manager on the job is not doing his job. So, that's always fun to do. But you know what? I do it because, you know, they're supposed to give the site, the field shippers, certain paperwork, and then, you know, when there's change orders on jobs, which means if there's just extra work on the job that the owners have to pay for, and the owners need to approve them, the project managers need to push the owners to approve them, because that affects the schedule of the job. And I can tell you this right now. It doesn't matter how much extra work there is that they want done on the job, they will never extend the schedule. So you're really pushed for time, especially when they add a whole bunch of stuff. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that they've wanted to do that change orders were sent out over a month ago that he's never pushed on. And it's coming to the point where if I don't get them, they're not going to meet their opening date. And that's just how it is. It's going to be an epic fail. And when stuff like that happens, the project manager always blames the field supervisor. And the field supervisor is always left holding the bag for stuff like that. And there was no way in hell I was going to hold the bag. I've been doing this too long. I know much better. And there is no way I'm holding the bag for someone else not doing their job. So I wound up having to call the owner of the company and tell him this is going to be an epic fail. Project manager sucks ass. He's not getting me what I need. And I'm not making the opening date. And somebody needs to do something. So, I believe I did that on Tuesday afternoon. I did that, and guess what? Thursday, I got change orders approved. Isn't that funny? After I've been asking and begging and jumping up and down for over a month, I call the owner of the company, and all of a sudden, the owners approved change orders. But I shouldn't have to do that. This is a guy that came stomping onto my job, pounding his chest like a gorilla, telling me that he's the hierarchy on the job. Not me, not my boss, he is. Well, great. If you want that, then start doing your damn job. But, yeah, he did that on my job, and I told him I wasn't getting in the middle of that pissing contest. There is no room for egos on my job site. The only ego that matters on the job site is mine, and I'm not that insecure that I need to have someone pad my ego. I'm not happening. So he learned very quick that he's not going to be pushing me around. And, unfortunately, from what I understand, there's a director of construction, and he acts as like the buffer between the field personnel, such as myself, and the personnel in the office. Because how it works, construction, if you're not in construction, it used to be, years ago, the project manager and the field supers actually worked hand in hand. Like, the project manager is there to support the field supervision, get them the paperwork that they need. If subcontractors aren't showing up on the site, the project manager is supposed to help get them on the site. The project manager is supposed to protect the site from owners screaming, yelling, having a shit fit. We are supposed to be left alone to run our site, get the jobs done, run the crews, implement the change orders, implement the changes on plans, and that. And the project manager is supposed to handle all the other minutia that we just don't have the time to get involved with. And it used to be like that years ago. But all of a sudden, I don't know, within maybe the last 5, 8, 10 years, It's now like banging heads. It's now like the office against the field staff, and vice versa in a lot of cases. And I don't understand it. And you're kind of warring against each other instead of actually working together for the common goal of getting a building built on time, make money, and walk away. And it's not working that way anymore. And I don't know where the flip was on that. I just don't. But yeah, I don't understand it. You know, we all have the same goal. I don't understand why it's office personnel against field personnel. I don't get it. And usually what happens is the office personnel thinks that they're higher up than the field personnel. Like, they think they're here and we're here. And we should all be here. But they need to also realize that us in the field is what's keeping their paycheck coming every week. And they don't get that. They think it's them keeping our paycheck coming. But if it wasn't for the people in the field supers and the laborers and the electricians and carpenters and everybody that shows up to build something, if we didn't show up, the people in the office would not get paid because nothing would get done. But they think the opposite. So anyway, I have with this company a director of construction, and he is more like the buffer between the field and the office personnel. And what's happening lately is he came to my job and he was venting about this, but what's happening is that the two project managers that work within this company, and they've been in this company for years and years and years, so they are already, very comfortable in what they are. They don't do anything more than they think they have to do, and actually they should really do more, which would be their job. Nobody's ever really paid too much attention, especially the owner of the company has never really paid too much attention to what they do, what they don't do, how much friction they bring to the field. He's never really paid attention. But what's happening is now that we have this director of construction, he's kind of shining a light on how incompetent they actually are, and how much they don't do their job, and how they don't get the information that's needed, how they don't push the owners to approve things or answer questions, and how they don't show up to a job site, or how they show up to a job site and beat up certain field supervisors that are too afraid to open up their mouths, and they create chaos and nothing gets done. And before this guy was hired, the field supers used to just walk out the door, just leave, and nobody ever knew why, because they never knew why. It was more of a fuck you, I'm out of here, and they would leave. But now the owner of the company and the director of construction is starting to see why, because when the director of construction shows up at a job site and asks what's going on, and and you start telling them, I need this, I'm not getting this, and he says this, and he's doing this, but he's not doing that, and yada yada yada, and all he hears is that, all he hears is problems. He's not saying, oh, great, so and so got me this, it was so great because they really needed that. He's not hearing that. All he's hearing is negative, and it's not good. And I had a meeting with the owner. The owner has meetings with the field supervisors every few months just to see what's going on, if they have any complaints, because he was kind of getting tired of all the supers that he had hired, leaving within a few months. And he couldn't figure out why, because nobody was ever saying anything to him. And so when I had a meeting with him, he was asking me how things were going, if I had anything to complain about. And I said, well, I complained to the director of construction. These are the things I need, and I'm not seeing it done. And he said, well, you're not the only one that has said that. Well, great. If I'm not the only one that says that, then fix it. Because, stuff like this comes from the top. It trickles its way down. But if the top is not going to get involved, the middle ain't changing shit. So he says to me at the end of the meeting, he's like, oh, if you have any complaints, if, something's not being handled, please call me, because, I don't want you to, just walk off and just quit, and I don't know why. So I'm like, all right. I said, what? I'm not one of those people that's going to do that. If I do that, you're going to know why. And if you don't fix it, I'm going to walk. But I will always tell you why. And he was like, yeah, okay. So then when I called him and said, listen, this is what's happening, and I'm fucking pissed, and I don't need this shit, and I'm not holding a bag for you fucking project manager. This is what I need. Get it to me. You want your job done on time? Get me this. And, he said, I appreciate you calling me, because not everyone will call me. But the thing is, he may appreciate it all, but he needs to do something about it. And that's also another thing I found. Like the top, after so many years of owning the company, they just don't want to be involved anymore. It's like they just figure, well, I hired people to be in charge of this stuff, so I don't have to deal with these issues. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know anything. And that's a huge problem. Because they are, after a certain amount of time, they are the only ones that can do something about it. But, when they want to stick their heads in the sand, it doesn't really help anybody else. And the doors continue to revolve while he's, with blinders on, saying, gee, I don't know why, I treat everybody really good. I don't know why they're quitting. So... yeah, so that's what's going on. My big vent. So that's what's going on with that. And, it's funny because the director of construction sat down with the owner and they had a really long talk, and the director of construction said, you need to get rid of the PMs, and I have 2 people that can step into their spot immediately and go running. And, I was the one volunteered. Me and another super. No. And pay me a lot more money. I mean, I like being out in the field. I like being a field super. And, I was a project manager for many, many years. But let me tell you, it's a shitty job. It's a thankless, shitty job. But, there are some people that are fantastic of it, at it, and, and they do really good in it. And you can make a boatload of money as a project manager. But then there are also some people that are just horrific at it, and they make everybody's life miserable. But I do know, as stressful as being in the field is, it's a lot more stressful. Well, if you're a really good project manager, it's a lot more stressful, because you're kind of leading the job in a certain way, and you need to, like the field super, you need to kind of look ahead at any problems that you see, and discuss that with the field super, and kind of guide the super. You're pretty much overseeing everything. You oversee the budget and the paperwork and the super and the subcontractors, when you have to get involved with stuff like that. So yeah, it could be very stressful, but it's a thankless job. It's not. Ugh. This is why I'm out in the field tonight. Stay out in the field, because I don't want to. Not that I don't like. I like doing it when I did it, but very, very stressful. And you don't get a break at all. It's like, well, if you don't allow yourself to have a break, you don't get a break. But, as I've gotten older, I've realized that, you know what? I've realized that I have to close the door because I'm getting a delivery and the dog goes bananas. But I've realized that my career is my own small business, and that's how I treat it. And that's how everybody should treat their careers, as their own personal small business. And I already know that, everybody's dispensable. Everybody is. I don't care how good or how bad you are at your job. Everybody's dispensable. And I will not, give myself time. I will not dedicate 100% of my life or my time to the company that I work for. I just will not. I will take my paid time off. I will shut my phone off when I walk off that site. I will not answer it again until the next day. I could care less if the building's burning down. It's not my responsibility. My name is not on the door of the company. And, it's not my circus, not my monkey. I'm paid to do a job, I do the job, and that's it. If you're a project manager, you kind of wind up falling into the habit of being on call 24/7, of answering emails till late at night and stuff like that. But you kind of have to give yourself grace and say, you know what, my job is done at 4 or 5, whatever, and that's it. I'm done. I don't care who died. I'm not answering the phone. It shouldn't be that important to you. And I think that's one of the things I did not like about Project Manager, but also because I did not give myself grace too. But yeah. So that's my vent about work. My PM sucks. And I think I've said this before. My job's, moving along. I finally got my change orders done, so hopefully I can open September 20th when I'm supposed to. And all my inspections have passed, so we're good with that. So yeah. I will see you on the next job site update. Thanks.